From Nebraska's trusted news source, this is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up on the news, we now know what caused the fire at a Lincoln apartment complex today. Plus, Husker Nation with some renewed hope after a Big Ten win on Saturday. We're going to hear from the coach, but first tonight.
It does take an emotional toll when you deal with that stuff, but we do have procedures in place to help individuals deal with that.
Tonight, more on the car crash here in Lincoln that killed 6 people. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ron Fowler. Megan has the night off. A lot of people are still trying to come to terms with a deadly crash that happens early Sunday morning. We're going to have a live report from the scene coming up here in just a little bit. But first, what police know. Channel 8's Matthew Midlighter has the latest details.
The deadly crash happened near 56th and Randolph Streets just after 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Police say they arrived to find a Honda Accord had slammed into a tree in front of a nearby house. According to an accident report, the vehicle was traveling at a high rate of speed and then lost control, struck the curb and a mailbox before hitting the tree. LPD says the initial report of the crash came from an iPhone, which recorded its owner had been involved in a severe crash and reported it to the police. We have a recording of the dispatch alerts that came through shortly after the crash.
It's going to be the east side of 5630 Randolph Street on a single vehicle tree accident. There's PD on location. They're advising there are 4 people still inside the vehicle. Callers on location were reporting that there was a fire on the vehicle.
After the crash, bystanders helped to put that fire out with hoses from nearby houses before police and first responders attempted to get the occupants out of the vehicle.
And it looks like PD is actually now saying there are 5 inside and they're all unconscious. Again, there are 5 inside, all unconscious. Let me know how many more medic units you would like me to start. You'll have TAC 3, TAC 3.
In total, there were actually 6 victims in the vehicle at the time of the crash, ranging between the ages of 21 and 26. 5 of them were men who were pronounced dead at the scene, and 1 woman who survived was taken to the hospital where she later died of her injuries. Police are now calling this the worst crash in Lincoln in recent memory.
It does take an emotional toll when you deal with that stuff, but we do have procedures in place to help individuals deal with that. They have that extensive training and that's their specialty. So whether, it's 1 fatal or 5 or 6, the procedures are the same, the steps to investigating that crash.
At this time, it's still unclear what exactly led to the crash, but police are investigating. LPD is not releasing the names of the victims yet, but expresses condolences for the victims and their families. Anyone with information is urged to call Lincoln Police. Reporting in Lincoln, Matthew Midlighter, Channel 8 News.
Now, the family has asked Lincoln Police to not release any of the names of the people who were killed until tomorrow. And out of respect for those families, we here at Channel 8 are honoring that request. Now, Channel 8's Ariana Martinez joins us live at the crash site to show us how many are paying their respects to the victims. Ariana.
Rod, as you can see behind me, many people have been stopping by to leave flowers and pay their respects to the 6 individuals who tragically lost their lives right here early Sunday morning in a crash. Now, as you can see, the tree is right in front of a home off Randolph Street. The daughter heard the crash and woke up her father, who ran out to try and help. Brad Bartak grabbed a rock, broke a window, and tried to make contact with the victims in the car, but was unable to get a response. He said that's when the engine started on fire and he quickly grabbed a garden hose.
It was a long enough hose, I was able to get it there, and we were able to contain the fire, and a gentleman up the street came down to assist with that until fire and rescue showed up. Unfortunately, everything I was able to do wasn't able to help them because the accident was so horrific.
Bartak says people are more than welcome to stop by, leave flowers, and pay their respects at the tree at the crash site. But this is a reminder that Randolph Street right here is right next to a busy intersection, and this roadway right here is you're unable to park or stop your car, so please refrain from stopping right there. But there is a solution to that. Right here, just right across the street on Robert Street, you are able to park your car right here to make sure everyone is safe. And I just wanted to say that my heart breaks for the families involved in this crash. Reporting live in Lincoln, Ariana Martinez, Channel 8 News.
All right, Ariana, thank you so much. I know you'll be doing another live report coming up at 6 o'clock. We appreciate it. A former Husker was killed last night after a crash in Indiana. 31-year-old Mark Pollini was one of 3 people killed in that crash. He played at Nebraska from 2010 to 2014, and he is the nephew of former Husker football coach Bo Pollini. Police say the SUV that Mark was driving hit a deer, which caused him to cross the center line and then collide with a truck. Now to a follow-up on an apartment fire at 44th and Cornhusker this morning here in Lincoln. Officials say a child was playing with a lighter in a storage shed attached to the apartment building there and accidentally started the fire. 1 adult and 2 minors were hospitalized with smoke inhalation and some minor burns. 5 residents who are now displaced because of the fire.
We are always trying to prevent fires. And with children playing with lighters, there are several different options. The child-proof lighters, lock and secure your lighters. It just common sense approach to prevention is what we're advocating for today.
And Battalion Chief Faust also said they found 2 cats in the fire, one of which was unfortunately deceased, but the other, as you can see here, was given a pet oxygen mask by a firefighter, and we're told that cat is now doing fine. By the way, total damage is around $100,000. The name of the man found dead in a home near 65th and Madison has been released. Police say 48-year-old Robert Aguirre was found last Thursday. They say he and 35-year-old Joshua Larson were involved in a relationship. Larson has been arrested for second-degree murder. Police say they're still trying to figure out what exactly led up to the homicide. If you have any information, they want you to give them a call. Let's talk about weather now and check in with Chief Meteorologist Rusty Dawkins as we kick off the work week. How's it looking?
Well, we've got a little bit of rainfall trying to show up on the radar. It's light and it's kind of hit and miss, but at least there's something showing up from northeastern, north central Nebraska, south and west a little bit towards McCook and the southwestern corner of the state, and then some more trying to move into the panhandle of the state. So a little bit of light rain out there, but as central and eastern Nebraska for the most part is dry. Beatrice is Shown's roofing cam at South 6th Street and Perkins, and it's a mixture of clouds and sun and a little warm out there today. 82 in Hebron, 84 in Lincoln, 80 degrees in Nebraska City, but much cooler to the west. Look at that, 60s for many spots like Thedford at 63, 58 in Valentine. This is a solid 20 to 25 or 30 degrees cooler than we were 24 hours ago for parts of central and western Nebraska. A little bit warmer in eastern Nebraska, but not by much. So some cooler air trying to make its way east. The wind is out of the south at 5 to 15 miles per hour. We are going to continue to see a little breezy conditions as we head through tonight. Here's a closer look at that satellite and radar. Notice areas like North Platte towards Broken Bow, O'Neill, just east of Valentine, some rain showers going on. Your forecast for tonight in Lincoln, partly cloudy skies, temperatures slowly dropping into the 60s by 10 o'clock tonight. We are going to see our own chance for rain in eastern Nebraska and much cooler temperatures for a couple of days. More on that in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Rusty. Now to the latest on Hurricane Ian as the death toll is expected to rise. Crews are scrambling to rescue people still stranded by the storm. ABC's Rena Roy has the very latest.
Riding through Fort Myers, it's clear there is a long road ahead for those who call this place home.
You can see that area is just completely wiped out.
These houses completely destroyed. Days after Hurricane Ian made landfall nearby, fire alarms still blaring. The cleanup just getting started.
Pool of water right over there.
Patty McIver is showing us what's left of her home.
Here is the water line to where it came.
And it's not much.
So you pretty much lost everything.
Coming here and looking at it, I never imagined it would be this bad.
New satellite images show the widespread devastation in Fort Myers. This was pre-Ian, this is after. Sanibel Island also decimated. Rescue teams combing southwest Florida.
There's more urban search and rescue teams in Florida now than in any one place in American history since September 11th.
Hundreds of thousands of customers still without power.
They're still working on the power. Yeah. You know, you deal with it.
We have ice and we have grills, and that's what we're doing. We're using that.
Volunteers stepping in to help people get essentials like water and food. Nonprofit Mercy Kitchen giving out 22,000 hot meals on Sunday alone.
We're getting the request from that one person that says my mother is there and she's still trapped in her home. can you take her a meal and a bottle of water? It's meeting the need, and you find where the need is, and then you go and you do whatever you have to do to take care of that need.
Officials say power should be restored for most by Friday, but for the hardest hit communities, it could be much longer. Rena Roy, ABC News, Fort Myers, Florida.
And we want to remind you, LES crews have been working hard to restore power in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. That's northeast of Orlando. Their main job, replacing poles in areas that can't be reached by trucks. Also, want to let you know, more crews from Nebraska Task Force 1 are headed to Florida right now to help with the recovery efforts. All right, let's talk some sports now. The Husker football team is fresh off their first win under interim head coach Mickey Joseph. Now they turn their focus to Friday's road game against Rutgers. Channel 8's Lauren Michelson has the latest from the head coach. Lauren?
That's right, Rod. The Huskers sit at 1-1 in Big Ten play, 2-3 on the season, and they are tied with 5 other schools atop the Big Ten West. It's clear that the division is wide open and anyone's to take, but Joseph's made it clear he's not thinking that far ahead. For now, this team wants to take things one game at a time.
It's the Wild West right now. Everybody's fighting, but if you look at the games are coming down to the fourth quarter. It's really tough games. Coming down to the fourth quarter, so we're going to take one game at a time. We got Rutgers, and we got to get ready for Rutgers. But the West is wild right now.
Despite the team understanding Joseph's motto of going 1-0 each week, their 35-21 win over Indiana definitely added to the players' confidence moving forward. Senior Travis Vokalek says finally playing a full 4 quarters makes all the difference mentally.
Now that we, finished a close game, guys can see that it can be done. So that definitely gives us confidence, and we understand that we've done it once now, so now we need to do it for every game. In situations that arise where we have to finish football games. So definitely a confidence builder.
We also had a chance to speak with quarterback Casey Thompson today. I'll break down his and Mickey's relationship and how Thompson's toughness resonates so deeply with the coach later on in Sports at 6.
It was great to see that win. All right, thank you, Lauren. We'll talk to you at 6 o'clock. Stocks kicked off the month of October with a huge rally today. The Dow jumped 765 points, NASDAQ up 240, and the S&P up 92. One of the reasons, oil prices went up, and that lifted energy stocks. Despite today's big boost, a lot of concern does remain on inflation and rising interest rates. Well, coming up, a former FBI agent paid a visit to UNL today. One of the hot topics, Mar-a-Lago. The details plus your full forecast right after the break. Don't go away. A Husker alumni and former FBI special agent talked all things search warrant today. Channel 8's Rebecca Heckel heard his speech and has the details.
After getting both his undergraduate and law degrees from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Greg Stechkel became an FBI special agent for 31 years. He came back to Lincoln Monday to talk about his career.
It's great, and I feel honored to have the opportunity to come back and address the students.
The College of Law is in the middle of a series of events highlighting the importance of democracy and the issues that challenge it.
One of the many things that's problematic for the rule of law right now is how much misinformation is out there, and I just thought as a Husker, as an alum, as a retired FBI agent who knows how these things work, he'd be a great person to talk to our community about how these things really work and correct some of the misimpressions that are out there.
Arguably, the most important topic Stechkel talked about was the minute details of the FBI search on former President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago in August. He says one of the main misconceptions is the idea that FBI agents placed evidence to incriminate former President Trump, saying in the presentation that agents just don't do that.
We're in search of the truth, we're not trying to make political gains or try to skew the facts in one direction or the other.
As an agent, Stechkel worked on hunting down the Oklahoma City bomber in 1995 and the notorious Unabomber, who was caught more than a decade later. Reporting in Lincoln, Rebecca Heckel, Channel 8 News.
And we'll have more from the retired agent's visit to UNL coming up tonight on the news at 6.
Now, your Storm Alert team forecast with Chief Meteorologist Rusty Dawkins.
Hasn't amounted to a whole lot, but any kind of precipitation lately, we'll take what we can get. Here's rainfall totals so far, and again, it's not a lot, but at least it's something. Just over 1/100th of an inch in Ogallala and North Platte, almost 1/10 of an inch in Thedford, and almost 1/4 of an inch in north central Nebraska in and around the Valentine area. So we're hoping for more rain. Outside right now, though, this is the Penner Bathing Solutions cam. A few clouds, mixture of clouds and sun, and just missed a bird flying by. I wish I wouldn't have clicked it so fast. Temperatures right now in the very warm, 84 degrees in Lincoln. We should be in the middle 70s instead of the middle 80s. So a very warm afternoon. 83 in Wahoo, 80 in Nebraska City. Beatrice here also at 83. A little cooler. You can even see the changing colors just off to the west. Some cooler air will eventually try to make its way towards us. Now, the rainfall potential for central and eastern Nebraska is out there, but it's going to have to overcome very dry air. We have dew points that are in the upper 30s and lower 40s, so obviously there is a very dry layer of air right over the top of us, and when rain tries to fall through that, it kind of evaporates first, and then it'll eventually make it to the ground. So unfortunately, that wipes away some of the precipitation potential. Wind is out of the south and east at 10 to 15, maybe 20 miles per hour, gusting between 25 and 30 miles per hour in some spots. So a little on the breezy side today. Again, there's that precipitation, just kind of a little bit of an S, backwards S, from about Valentine south through Holt County towards the northeastern corner of Custer County through Lincoln County and then south into the southwestern parts of the state. Also another wave, and this is kind of going to be the trend. Wave and then another wave and then another wave, and this scattered shower and thunderstorm activity. Some of these kind of on the strong side in the southern fringes of Sioux County in the Panhandle. So we've got a very slow moving cold front, scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms in and around this cold front over the next 24 to 48 hours. And this cool air is going to follow behind it and eventually get here. So you notice there's a wave and then there's another wave. So some rain in eastern Nebraska by 6 p.m. Tuesday, and then another wave behind it in central and north central Nebraska. That will try to make its way through late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms very early Wednesday. Before this all moves on out, I think we'll be left with just cloud cover on Wednesday afternoon, and then everything kind of moves out, and then that cool air will hang around for a little bit. And this is Thursday afternoon. Watch what happens Thursday night into early Friday morning. Colder, 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 into the 30s by early Friday morning, and then we don't warm up much Friday afternoon. Temperatures in the lower and middle, maybe the upper 50s. For the afternoon on Friday. So maybe our first frost coming our way. I've got a garden, so I'm watching really closely. Temperatures tonight, 50s. That may be our high on Friday, but we'll say 53 tonight, partly cloudy. Those showers west, those will try to move east as we head through the overnight into tomorrow. So much cooler to the west, much warmer to the east for Tuesday. Kind of depends on where that cold front sits up, and it looks like it'll be in the 80s for at least one more day in portions of eastern Nebraska. I don't think we'll quite get there. In Lincoln, we'll say 78 degrees, increasing those clouds. PM shower, maybe a rumble of thunder, especially in the evening hours, and then that could linger into early Wednesday morning, and then we cool off considerably. Not a bad day on Thursday, but then that colder air comes our way for Friday morning and sticks around. 56, goodness, on Friday. And then that early morning frost potential, very early Friday. Then again, Saturday morning, that could be the coldest morning that we've seen in a very long time, getting really close to that freezing mark. But as Mother Nature tends to do this time of year, she warms us right back up as we head towards next week.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people. They said we're at that time of the year where you need a jacket if you're leaving in the morning to go to work, and by noon if you go out for lunch, yeah,
it's warm.
It's getting hot. So
yeah, it's definitely that time of year.
A little bit of bring everything just in case, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Rusty. Here's a look at Wall Street today. As we mentioned earlier in this newscast, wow, big gains. Dow up 765, NASDAQ gaining 240, S&P up 93. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source. There have been hundreds of rescues in the wake of Hurricane Ian, but perhaps none went more viral than this one. Mike Ross saving this terrified tabby cat at a beach. It has been seen more than 1 million times on social media, and not long after Ross saved the cat, the AC unit it was perched on was washed into the ocean. The female cat is now living with Ross and his family while they try to find its owner. Because most veterinarians' offices are still closed, they haven't been able to see if the cat is microchipped. And I'll tell you what, our love for animals, dog, cats, sometimes we risk our own lives to save them, and well, that's nice to see. And the cat's in good hands, and hopefully they will be able to find the cat's owners. All right, let's get a check of the weather one more time with Rusty.
It's going to be a little cooler than we've seen in some time around here in the next few days. Tomorrow still mild. I think we'll see temperatures in the 70s, upper 70s Tuesday and Wednesday. A chance for rain, especially in the late afternoon, evening hours into very early Wednesday morning. Other than that, mostly cloudy. And then a cool 70 degrees on Thursday and almost a chilly 56 on Friday before we start to warm back up as we head towards the weekend.
All right, thank you, Rusty, and thank you for joining us. Don't forget, World News with David Muir is up next, and we'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.
With the Channel 8 News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of